Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Danny Taylor, co-owner of Vegan Proteins Online Coaching, and today we're gonna do some high protein, lazy vegan meal prep. So you guys have been enjoying the meal prep videos lately. This one's gonna be a little bit different. So the ones that I've done before, I've been trying to get it all done in under an hour, hit all of Michael Greger's daily dozen. But even though the point of those videos is to show you that it can be done in under an hour, I understand that's not gonna work for everybody. And it's not gonna work for me this week, actually. So today is Wednesday, New Year's Day. Happy New Year, everybody. And I'm actually flying out on Friday. So I've been trying to figure out the best way to do this, because if I actually prep food for 5 days right now, some of it's gonna get put to waste. I'm going to show you what I would prep and just prep a couple of the meals here. So we may not have 5 perfectly laid out days in Tupperware by the end of this, but I think you guys are gonna get the idea. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so today's meal prep is gonna rely on some convenience foods. That's part of the reason that makes it lazy. Now, don't get me wrong, I could do a much lazier meal prep than this. Way lazier. In fact, my actual everyday breakfast is way lazier than this, but I do wanna keep it a little bit interesting. So we're gonna be using Bisquick, which is surprisingly accidentally vegan. And we're gonna be making what I call lazy girl pancakes, but we're gonna be making them as a sheet pan, so we don't have to stand there and flip them over and over again. If you don't want to use Bisquick, you can use oat flour. The Bisquick comes out a little bit fluffier. And because I don't want to have to cut this into 5 even pieces, I'm gonna make 6 servings here. So I have 1/3 cup. I'm gonna put 6/3 cup of Bisquick in there. Now we're gonna do the exact same thing with 1/4 cup of Vital Wheat gluten. So normally I make these as single serving, which is why I'm counting it this way. So Vital Wheat gluten, that's what gives this recipe the protein. So if there's a question, can I make it without the Vital Wheat gluten? You can, but it won't be a protein pancake. You could substitute protein powder, but the texture is gonna come out very, very different. Set that aside. I have the baking powder. I'm gonna do 1/2 times 6, so it's gonna be 3 teaspoons here total. I have some stevia here. I actually don't know how much I'm gonna put in of this. Let's wing it. Let's wing it. Let's do a teaspoon. I can kind of taste the batter before I stick it in the oven. I'm gonna mix that together. Okay, and then all we're adding to this is gonna be water and some vanilla extract. So I'm almost out of vanilla, so I'm gonna add what I have left. That was a sad amount of vanilla. You should add more vanilla than that. And 4 cups of water. Now the key here is do not over mix it. You just want everything to be incorporated. Vital Wheat gluten will get chewy and meaty if it is over mixed. But we do want to get most of the lumps out. Now I'm going to whisk it to get those lumps. Still a couple of little lumps in there. That is a-okay. This is a 9 by 13 inch Pyrex. Actually, it's written in centimeters, which is weird, but it's a 9 by 13. I'm gonna spray it with cooking spray. You could also throw some parchment paper down if you wanted. Okay. Found a tiny dry pocket at the bottom. There we go. Give it a little shake so that it's level. This is about 1 inch or so deep right now. You could do this in a big sheet pan, like a cookie pan. It would be thinner, it would cook faster, but I'm gonna use this today, so I'm just gonna pop it in the oven at 350. Okay, now this is an example that I'm not gonna make them all because I don't think they will all get eaten and I really don't like to waste food, but I wanted to show you what I've got here. So again, this is all convenient stuff. These frozen stir-fry vegetables are actually awesome. So normally I get the just store brand, but they were out, so I got this Bird's Eye one. They have a sugar snap pea stir-fry and a broccoli stir-fry. I would mix those together. They also didn't have 2 brown rice. They had 1 brown rice, so I got a brown rice and a white rice. And these are just pre-cooked, microwavable rice. And I'm gonna use the Morningstar Farm chicken strips and some teriyaki sauce right here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make 1 serving of it just so you guys can see how I would do it. But if I was making 5, I would do it the exact same way. Personally, if I was making this for the whole week, I would have let some of these sit out to thaw before I started this. But I did not do that because I did not have that foresight. So one of the keys to making lots of stir fry is a really big wok. Little bit of sesame oil, little bit goes a long way. Okay, it's about 2 tablespoons, so I guess I'm gonna make 2 servings because I don't want 2 tablespoons. This is my snap pea stir fry. It's a very carroty mix there. And broccoli stir fry. Again, if I had let this thaw first, this would go much, much faster. Let's just cover it and forget about it for a while. While that's going, I'm gonna toss this bag in the air fryer for about 7 minutes or so, just to thaw them. I used 2 little bags of the veggies. I'm gonna use 1 bag of rice because it's got 2 cups of rice in it. So again, I'm gonna make 2 servings, not 1. And I put 2 servings of the Morningstar Farm chicken strips in the air fryer, not to really like cook them up crispy, but just to thaw them all the way through. So when we do toss them in the pan, they'll cook a little bit faster. Again, if I had thawed these beforehand, this would take like under 7 minutes or something. Let's move on to lunch. Do I have some pickles? Pickles. I don't. Lunch is gonna be a soup and salad combo. Try that again, Danny. Okay, lunch is gonna be a sandwich and soup combo. Sandwiches, it doesn't get easier than that. Again, I'm just gonna make 2, but I think you guys can figure out how long it would take to make 5, almost exactly the same time as it would take to make 2. I'm gonna use hummus, about 2 tablespoons in each sandwich. And I like to smear a little of whatever spread I'm using on both sides of the bread, because I find that if you put something sort of soggy in your sandwich, this prevents it from going all the way through all of the bread. For example, tomato, which I will be putting in here. This will stop it from getting soggy, which if you're making these way in advance is helpful. I'm gonna use tofurkey slices, 5 slices in each. And I know that there's 15 slices in the whole thing, so I'm gonna eyeball 1/3 for each one. Plus I find some of them are like thicker and some of them are thinner. I love pickles on my sandwich. Love them, love them. But they are pretty soggy, especially if I was making these in advance. I might just save this for the day and put them on that morning before I headed out to work, or I might lay them on a paper towel for a few minutes before I put them in there. And I did get a new knife for Christmas, by the way. Oh, look at that. I used to think that you just had to use serrated knives on tomatoes. A dream, an absolute dream. Do you know how much this knife cost? 20 bucks. 20 bucks. And it's like a dream. It had a million great reviews on it. Might not be able to really fit that in there. No, we're not gonna try. And sprinkle some pickle. You could also add mustard, you could add lettuce, you could add any veggies that you want to this, but we are doing this quickly. Did you know that in Ireland, they think it is insane that we don't put butter on our sandwiches? Like the thought of a sandwich without butter on it is nuts to them. Fun fact, now you know. So that's the sandwiches. Put them in Ziploc bags, put them in stasher bags, put them in Tupperware containers, whatever works for you. So these are stasher bags. They're like silicone Ziploc bags that you can reuse over and over. I love them. We're trying to build up a stash of them. They're kind of expensive though. Okay, I also said we were having soup. Now, how can you do that in a very lazy way? I'm actually really excited to share this one with you guys. You've all seen the like just add hot water soups. Some of them are great, some of them are terrible, but most of them don't have a lot of vegetables. And especially I find when you are really crunched for time, relying on a lot of convenience things, vegetables can kind of slip. Like obviously we're loading it up in dinner here, but that's it. That's the only meal in the day that has vegetables so far. If you get dehydrated vegetables, this one's, I'll link this stuff, but this one's by a company called Mother Earth Products. It has carrot, onion, tomato, peas, celery, green pepper, green beans, and parsley, and it's all just dehydrated. There's nothing else added to it. I'm gonna take about 1/4 cup of that. This stuff looks like fish food, but it's kale flakes, and that's literally all it is. It is just kale. I'm gonna do about 2 tablespoons of that. And then I also have this mixed dried mushrooms. I'm gonna do about 2 tablespoons of that as well in here. Now, you could just take these 3 things, mix them together, put them in a jar in your house, and you have like a ready-to-go soup mix at any time. All you have to do is add broth to it. So there's a few ways you could do that. You could just boil some broth, pour it over and let it sit, boom, soup. You could use the Better Than Bouillon stuff. I use this in so many of my recipes. It's like a paste, put it in, add the boiling water, stir it up, let it sit, done. Or you can use these bouillon cubes. Now, admittedly, these are the least tasty of those three options because they don't have a lot of flavor to them. But if you're like running out the door to the office, I think this is actually the best option. So I have a half a cube of bouillon, and you can control how much you want because it is like very salty. And I already have the water boiling, so I can show you what to do. So if I was meal prepping for the whole week, I would have the containers laid out, boom, 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 everything in there, half a cube of bouillon, seal it up, put it away, that's done. And then when you're at the office, you can either boil some water in a kettle, which is what I'm doing right now, or you just fill it with water and pop it in the microwave until it is boiling. And you just wanna let it sit for like 5 to 10 minutes once that's in there to soften the vegetables. And I like it because the vegetables are not mush when it's done. They're still a little bit al dente, which I personally like. There's not a lot of bite to this soup because they are little tiny pieces, but wow, in a pinch, this is such a cool way to add a bunch of vegetables. You can also add those dehydrated vegetables to other soups that you're making to just like bulk them up with vegetables. You could add them to sauces. You could throw them just into other dishes in general, into casseroles with some extra liquid. They'll just suck it up while they're cooking. What a cool idea when fresh vegetables are harder to get or you don't have access to a freezer. I thought it was a really cool idea, and I tried it out a couple months ago and I was like, wow, this actually works. So I wanted to share it with you. Okay. Boiling water. Okay. Definitely thawed, definitely cooked through. Gonna take our 2 servings. I'm gonna take our brown rice and I'm gonna steam it in the microwave. I already accidentally popped it, so I'm gonna use this one. While that is microwaving, gonna put in this teriyaki sauce, and I am gonna do about 4 tablespoons total. 4 tablespoons is a 1/4 cup. There we go. She's done. Turn her off. And the microwave's done. Let's go package her up. So we do have our soup still sitting here. I'll show you that in a few minutes. You saw once this was actually thawed and just a little bit wilted from being cooked, that took like 5 minutes to come together. We have our steamed fresh rice, and I'm gonna put half in one and half in the other. Now, I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea that I'm saying this is the only way to do lazy meal prep. It is not. There's so many ways. I didn't need to have steamed fresh rice. I could have tossed some rice in a rice cooker last night and it would have taken virtually no effort at all. But you know, when it's last minute and you gotta throw a bunch of stuff together right away, this is an option. Okay, this is gonna be the hardest part. You wanna try to get about half of the Morningstar Farm chicken strips in each one. So if you're trying to be very precise, I wouldn't add those into the stir fry. I would just do the vegetables with the sauce and then add the strips on top. All right, those are some pretty substantial dinners right there. Let's show you the soup now. This is what it looks like. Hot, hot, hot. It tastes good. It tastes like real vegetables, not like Campbell's vegetables. So I would just put the powder in here, take it to work, add water there. Okay, we got about 13 minutes left on those pancakes still. Let's look at our snacks. First snack, easy peasy, banana and almonds. So I get these big bags of raw almonds. Some people think raw almonds don't taste good. I prefer them to roasted almonds actually. And we're gonna put an ounce in each bag. So it should be about a 1/4 cup. An ounce is 28 grams. I just tear it out, reach in there, boom. 1, done. 5. That took me less than 90 seconds. Even with measuring it out, this is way cheaper than the ones that are pre-packaged out for you. And it took 90 seconds. So bada bing, bada boom, there's 5 snacks. Let's do another snack. I want you guys to see that I have these just for those busy weeks specifically. This is probably the most expensive thing in the whole meal plan. And they are, I don't love protein shakes, you guys know that, but on the go, like these are unbeatable. 32 grams of protein. It's by a company called 𝐬𝐻𝐾, O-W-Y-N, stands for only what you need. 8 grams of fat, 3 grams of carbs, 32 grams of protein. They are soy-free, gluten-free, peanut-free, vegan, obviously, artificial color free. They're good. And I guess they come in non-plastic containers now also. These are just kind of old. So boom, 5 other snacks with 32 grams of protein. Now, let's look at dessert. Ta-da! Dessert doesn't have to be fancy. 2 clementines, that's it. Tangerines, clementines, what are these technically? Mandarins for dessert. Easy peasy, just a little fruit bowl for dessert. So that's all done. The only thing we're waiting for is the 10 minutes for this pancake sheet pan to come out of the oven. And again, if I had made it on a bigger pan, which I'm looking at it like coming up near the sides of the pan in the oven, maybe I should have used a wider pan. It'd probably already be done. And when I would eat this, I would top it with melted frozen strawberries. It's January, strawberries suck right now, especially in New England, but frozen strawberries are usually like picked at peak ripeness. These are usually pretty good. So I would take a cup to 2 cups of these, put them in a little microwave safe dish, pop them in the microwave for 2 to 3 minutes, and they melt and the starches break down and it becomes like a syrup. You could add stevia to it if you wanted to, but I actually find that it's like plenty sweet enough on its own. And I use that as a syrup for my pancakes. So like it's literally been 32 minutes since we started this, and now I'm just sitting around waiting for this to be done. And that was with starting with frozen food. So I guess the point is meal prep doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be super hard. It doesn't have to be fancy. I know I talked about this in the last video, but like legit. And if I wasn't flying out on Friday, I would have made all 5 days. But I hope you guys understand why I didn't. I do not like to waste food. Stuff I made will get eaten, but if I made 5 days of it, some of it would not get eaten before we fly out. 10 seconds left. The dishes are done. The floor is swept. This is laid out so I can show it to you once we're done. I mean, this was a super fast meal prep. I wasn't running around at all. In fact, I was kind of bored, just so you guys can see. Yeah, probably should have used a shorter, wider pan. So that was in there for 40 minutes. Probably could have cut that down to 20 minutes. I've never cut it this quickly after it coming out of the oven. Baked goods cook for a while after they come out of the oven because of all the heat that's trapped inside, but I don't have time for that. So let's see what happens. Now I'm gonna do the melted strawberries thing so I can show you what I was talking about. So what I'm gonna do with the rest of this is just let it cool, and then I'm gonna portion it out, stick it in the freezer, and then to heat it up, I can either pop it in the microwave or pop it in the toaster oven to get it ready for every day. Take my strawberries, take a couple of cups. They'll shrink down quite a bit. So, but that's about 2 cups of whole strawberries. If they're already sliced, still they'll cook faster, but that's what I got. You can see how much that broke down into a syrup. Some of the strawberries are still kind of whole, so I'm gonna mash them up with a fork. So hopefully you got a good look at that. You really gotta like cover it in the strawberries and let it soak them up. It's almost like a strawberry shortcake or something. It's so, so good. So then you get bites like this. This is wicked hot, but. Yes. I haven't made this in a while. That is so good. Let me give you the overview here. The total for the day, 1,833 calories and 130 grams of protein. This was a very lazy, slow-moving meal prep But I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys got something out of this. If you're interested in any kind of one-on-one coaching, go ahead and fill out an application in the description down below. If you like meal plans, we make a new meal plan every single month in our Muscles by Brussels membership. So when you sign up, you start collecting them each month. And if you're a one-on-one client, you get access to all of them and so much more. So got any questions? Let me know. If you like the video, go ahead and like the video, subscribe, hit the bell, all the things I'm supposed to tell you to do at the end of a YouTube video, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.